It looks like we're on.
Well, let's just see. Hello, everybody. We're just going to make sure that people can hear us and see us. That would be kind of important. If someone wants to jump on the chat there and just let us know that you can hear us. I'll move that to all participants too.
Sure.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, if somebody can shout out in the chat and just say, because we just got a brand new microphone, so we want to make sure that we're coming in loud and clear.
Look at that.
Isn't that cool?
Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. So if we can get someone to just let us know that you can hear us and you can see us.
Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate
that.
All
right. I cannot tell you how excited we are to be presenting this to you this evening. It is. This is a big one.
Yeah, we have about 24 people at the time we went on registered for this webinar, and usually a lot more show up once we go on live. So we want to give them just a few minutes to get logged in, but we're not going to waste too much time. We'll just kind of. But I want to thank everybody for being here. This is an exciting evening for us. You know, we've been doing these webinars now for about 6 weeks, and really enjoy just sharing the word about LifeWave and these amazing products and the impact that they've had on our lives and so many others. And we want to continue to do that. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate that.
And so we have a really interesting mix of people on tonight. And let me go over a little bit about what to expect, with this webinar, because we're new at this. We've never done live webinars before. These last, couple of weeks that we decided to just, bite the bullet and go out and try to do it. So if you see us completely stumble during the middle of this, just love us and tell us we're doing okay and all that. But we're here to share with you things that we are very passionate about. So tonight, what we hope to do is, number one, have a situation where you get to know us a little bit better and what makes us do what we do. And very, very quickly, we'll go over with you what our mantra is and what our 3 pillars of guidance that we go by on. And then what we'll do then is we're going to talk about the company that we've locked arms with. We're going to go through a little bit of the history, a little bit of the leadership of the company, and some of the legacy products that they've had for all these years. And then we're going to talk about the game-changing product that has just come out this year that has not just got us excited and motivated, but it's got this whole world excited that know of this company and know what this new technology is about to offer. And then normally we would go into the business side of what we do for the entrepreneurial minded. Yes. But tonight we have something absolutely special for you guys. Tonight we've been blessed with having one of the greatest leaders in this organization offer to come on live with us for a little bit. And I know that if I were to put him on first, once he finished, you people would all just go away. So we're going to hold him off for a little bit. But in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined here by Chuck Michel. And Chuck Michel is known throughout the company that we're going to be introducing you to here tonight. And you'll see why. So let's just dive in. And
okay. Well, first, I'm just going to tell you a brief history of me. I'm Cindy Bedore. I've been a LifeWave member for about 4 years, a little over 4 years. And the reason why I became, let's first to say I actually found LifeWave by accident. I've always been passionate about health and wellness and taking care of myself. And, throughout my adult life, I have been, never a stranger to pain, severe pain in my neck and low back. I've always been very active. I was a young mother. I had 2 young boys I was chasing after all the time. I was a martial artist, but there was always this crippling, sometimes pain that would put me out for weeks or even longer. And I just didn't know what to do about it. And this is from my early 20s. This is not something that came, as time went on. So during my late 30s, it was discovered I had a severe disorder of my neck, and that had to be fixed surgically. And it was successful. Don't have range of motion, but everybody notices but me. But my low back has been a huge problem all during that time. And, after going through all that surgery with my neck, I just didn't want to do it again. But I would go through sciatic episodes that were so bad that I literally could not sit for long periods of time. I couldn't lay down. Standing was the only comfortable thing I could do. I couldn't get in and out of a car. One time I got stuck in an airplane. My son had to literally pull me out because we had a tight connection and I couldn't get out of the plane. So about 2012, it was discovered that I have, in addition to several bulging discs, I had an extra vertebrae that crowded everything in my low back. And this was obviously the cause of why things would just slip out of shape and just put me down like unexpectedly. So, I began looking for alternatives because I went to several doctors. Some wanted to do surgery. I wanted to avoid that. Some, they wanted to put me on pain pills and muscle relaxers and all that. I just didn't want any part of it. So, I looked for a solution. I stumbled across this company called LifeWave. And it has literally been life-changing ever since. Now, 4.5 years later, I am, an active grandmother. I do everything with my grandkids. I ride roller coasters with them. I, crawl around the floor. I work out sometimes twice a day. There's no limitation anymore. I'm not in that fear that if I step off a curb or if I move in the wrong direction, it's going to go and then I'm going to be down for 2 months. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's literally been miraculous for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I benefit from that also because not only is she so energetic and so active, it rubs off on me. And, I'm out there with her, on these 25-mile bike rides every Saturday, every Sunday. And I'm not really getting into the Pilates just yet, but I stay very, very busy.
We're getting there. I'm working on them.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to go ahead and get started with the presentation?
Why don't we jump into this a little bit? We're going to share our screen here
go
for a
ahead
minute.
And share my
we'll be
screen.
back, though. Don't worry.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into this very first topic here, and I'll go through that really, really quickly here, the VLP movement. If we can get onto that slide. And the VLP movement is something personal to us.
Yes.
It's just what we use to stay centered, to stay anchored in what it is that we believe in. And the VLP movement to us is we believe that people should be focused on a life of great vitality. Doing the things that you need to do to preserve the one body that you get. And that means eating right and getting exercise and staying active and, letting the body do what it wants to do and promote that in your body. And if you have the vitality, you're going to achieve the second pillar of what we stand for, and that's longevity. We know that if you take really good care of this, you're going to more than likely live much longer than the average person who ignores all of this. And when we have vitality with longevity, we want to make sure that you understand how important the prosperity piece is to this. Because let's face it, if you want to live a vital life doing the things that you enjoy doing, and you're going to be living that life for much longer, you're going to have to find a way to be able to afford that longer, more vital life. And so we think it's important to have all three of those pillars solidly in focus if you're going to want to, come out of this life living it the best you possibly can. So we spend just a minute or two so you get to know us a little bit better.
That's what we're about.
So let's dive in here.
Okay, so LifeWave is the company that we locked arms with a little bit more than 4 years ago. And it's a technology company, a health technology for improving our health and providing dynamic anti-aging benefits. Now, I'm just going to go a little bit about the history. So back in, LifeWave was founded, was started in 2004, but a few years before that, scientist and inventor David Schmidt was invited to participate in the U.S. Navy's Next Generation mini sub program. And the goal was to find a way to keep the crew members alert, awake, and alive longer in the event of an accident or something, you know, catastrophic happening. So this actually, oh, I'm on the wrong. I do have notes here, but I'm going to go without them.
Yeah.
This led David on this mission, and what became of this was the LifeWave Energy Enhancer patch. Now, a few weeks after this patch was released to the public, it got into the hands of the Stanford University women's swim team coach, Richard Quick. Now, Mr. Quick provided these patches to his team members, and a few weeks later, about 6 out of 8 of them swam their personal best. And I think one even set a world record. And when this happened, this literally, well, let me back up a little bit. A few weeks later, the patches were seen, the girls were seen wearing these patches during the Olympic trials, and that caught the attention of many, and the patches were required then to go to have anti-doping testing. So that had been completed, and the patches were proven to have contained no stimulants, nothing was entering these girls' bodies, no stimulants or anything addictive to cause them to have this better energy. This is all a natural occurrence. So once this happened, I mean, athletes and celebrities all over the world began endorsing the LifeWave Energy Enhancer patch. So the patches are backed by science. There's clinical studies conducted by universities and medical facilities to prove the patches are effective and work as they're advertised. And LifeWave has numerous patents on their phototechnology technology, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes. Actually, over 70 patents on regenerative science just in itself. And it's like, again, these are backed by science. They conduct scientific research on their products to prove that they are safe and effective. So I'm going to show you this quick video here that will kind of give you an idea of how these patches actually work.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. LifeWave phototherapy patches promote an environment that enables the body to optimize its restorative powers and provide specific health benefits, all without the use of harmful drugs or chemicals, all helping you to stay healthy and young. To find out more, contact your distributor or visit lifewave.com. LifeWave. Live long. Live well.
Okay, so one really important thing I want to emphasize here is LifeWave technology. These patches do not nothing enters your body. They are non-transdermal. they simply utilize those principles of acupuncture points and phototherapy. And this is how these patches perform and give us the health benefits that they are designed to do. Now, I just want to briefly go over some of the other LifeWave patches that Joe and I have been enjoying for the last 4 years. In addition to Energy Enhancer patch, about a year later, the Silent Nights patch was released, and the Silent Nights actually enhances the quality and increases the length of sleep. And then IceWave came along, and that's a very fast-acting, safe and natural relief for whole body pain as well as local pain. And then came the anti-aging, the Y-Age. Now, I really love these patches. Glutathione has probably always been one of my favorite. And I learned, before I was a LifeWave member, I never heard of glutathione before, which surprised me after I became a LifeWave member when I found out how imperative it is to our health. Glutathione is the body's master antioxidant, and it's found in every cell in the body with high concentrations in the liver and in the lungs. It provides us detoxification and promotes the release of heavy metals and stored toxins. So, you know, when we're younger, our glutathione levels are high, but as we get older, they tend to drop down. And it's really imperative that if we want to stay young and have that vitality, and that anti-aging, we need to keep these levels up. So what the glutathione patch does, it promotes our bodies to produce glutathione levels naturally without putting anything into the body. I went ahead of myself. I forgot to talk about the other two. So carnosine is a great anti-aging patch as well. Carnosine actually it increases stamina, improves strength, flexibility. There's high concentrations in the brain and in the heart and in the muscles. So it's a great patch for somebody who has an active lifestyle. And then the third of the YH patches is Eon. Now, Eon is clinically proven to reduce stress and decrease inflammation. And those are two major factors of aging. And on this slide that I jumped ahead to here, this is an image that shows the top two images. The red represents inflammation in the body, and then when the Eon patch is applied, you can see on the lower two images through this special testing, this infrared testing, that the inflammation has decreased significantly. And before I move on, I thought I'd let Joe share a little bit of his experience with this patch.
Yeah, when Cindy first got my attention talking about LifeWave to me, this was the very first patch that I tried. And there was basically two things that really kept me really interested in LifeWave. And this is one of them, because not in high school, but in college, playing intramural football, I had an accident where I had compressed two vertebrae in the back of my neck. And so I was wearing this neck collar for Lord knows how long. And I just always struggled with the fact that I was going to have this neck problem. I figured, you know, when I got older, I'd probably have to have it operated on or what have you. But with the Eon patch, which I placed right on the back of my neck where the neck and the spine connect, that particular patch is specifically designed to help pull stress out of the body and to reduce inflammation. Yeah. And so before I knew it, after using this patch for a while, I lost all of that pain that I had in my neck, and I had the full range of motion back, and I've been wearing that patch ever since, up until this January.
Yeah. And we'll tell you why in just a moment. But it's still it's an awesome product. Okay, so here we are. Mm-hmm. Did you want me to go back one?
No, I think we're good. This is
We're really at the time to reveal what has been going on with LifeWave recently. And this has been really amazing for us and to many other people. And it has to do with stem cells. So I'm going to, again, show you a quick video that can explain it much better than I can.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often, with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Unless you're using LifeWave. Since 2004, LifeWave has been delivering its amazing life-enhancing technology to people across the world, always helping the body do what it was designed to do, only better. And as it turns out, the best was yet to come. David Schmidt, our founder, creative force, and world-class inventor behind LifeWave technology, has recently achieved something in the field of regenerative science with a single LifeWave patch that researchers worldwide, spending years and billions of dollars, could not. Introducing LifeWave X39. The world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. The secret? By harnessing the power of LifeWave's patented phototherapy, X39 uses light to elevate a peptide proven to signal the activation of stem cells. Think about it. These are the cells that generate and regenerate all the cells and structures of the human body. They're the building blocks for our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an internal repair system everywhere. But as we age, stem cells become less effective. Their ability to repair damaged tissue is reduced. In fact, by age 60, they've slowed dramatically. But all that changes when just one LifeWave X39 patch is placed anywhere on the body each day. Instead of older and less effective stem cells, X39 supports the production of younger and healthier stem cells. This amazing level of control over your vitality and well-being was simply not possible, let alone this easy, until now. And the best part? Like all LifeWave patches, X39 is safe, non-invasive, and incredibly cost-effective. Look what people are saying about LifeWave X39. Backed by clinical studies, multiple patents, and 20 years of development, any one of these benefits would be impressive. But X39 is so effective, it can influence everything about your body. How you look, feel, perform, and heal. It's time you experience the power of X39. Imagine investing in companies like these when they first went public and riding their growth to where they are today. Those who made wise decisions to get involved gained incredible wealth. Now it's your turn. When it comes to regenerative anti-aging science, stem cells are the future. And thanks to LifeWave, you are at the forefront of it all. Don't miss out. X39 puts you on the threshold of explosive growth in your business like no other product ever could. And all you need to do is try it and share it with others. The LifeWave X39 patch, an absolute breakthrough. For your body, for your business. Live long, live well, live younger. Experience the power of LifeWave today.
That was great, I'll tell you. So understand this is entirely different from what we have been seeing in stem cell treatments and research up until now. Because what LifeWave has done is they've developed an incredibly effective and extremely ineffective way to stimulate our stem cells, to activate our own stem cells by increasing this peptide in our body. We're not injecting stem cells in. We're not adding stem cells. We are creating an environment so this peptide, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So the new phototherapy patch, the X39, elevates the peptide called GHK-Cu copper peptide, and this turns on the production of stem cells in the body. It activates our own stem cells. This produces remarkable health and anti-aging benefits. Elevating this peptide is proven to elevate stem cell production naturally, and this resets thousands of genes back to a younger, healthier state. Unparalleled level of health and vitality can be achieved by this. So, what is a peptide? Okay, a peptide is a chain or more of two building blocks of protein and bioregulators that control the genetic expression and biological activity of all the cells in the body. And literally, this peptide can help slow down the aging process, even reverse it in some ways. So we've seen a great number of testimonials in the LifeWave community. Several LifeWave members have been actually using this patch since July within the community. And here's just this is a list of things that the peptide can do in addition to increasing or activating stem cells. And this list is amazing. I have a personal testimony really quick. The last 2 years, I've been seeing a naturalist, a natural doctor, to help me with hormone balance. And I'm at that point in my life where I need a little help there. And one of the things they test for, because they do blood work very frequently when they're monitoring that, is a protein, something called C-reactive protein. Now, I knew what that was because I'm a LifeWave member. Most people don't. But what it is, it's a marker for inflammation. And when you have very high levels of it, it could be, there's very high risk to that. And my results, my blood work always came back in the high risk area. Disturbing to me, yes. And my doctor, advised me to take omega-3s, which I did. And nothing seemed to bring that level down. 6 weeks after using the X39, I started using it in mid-January. 6 weeks later, I had my blood work drawn, and my results came back normal. Now, understand, they were high risk for 2 years, and it skipped medium risk, and it skipped low risk, and it went down to normal. I was absolutely thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So here's some of the things that many of the, X39 patch users are saying, and the list goes on and on. You can go to lifewave.com and go to the testimonials, and it's unbelievable some of the amazing things that this patch has done to help people.
At this point, there's our contact information. But, we talked earlier about our 3 pillars and what we believe in. And, thank you. And, what we've gone through here, you saw where we're able to improve our vitality by using a number of these patch technologies, the energy enhancer, the ice wave. And then as far as the longevity goes, we've got these Y-age patches that work on, anti-aging. And now we've got this X39 that's bringing us into a market that we can't even measure at this point in time. We have no competition in this. This is not like other patch treatments that are putting things into your body. These are non-transdermal. They're just little patches, and they reflect our own body light back into our body in a specific way to stimulate different things. And so we're not injecting people with
stuff.
Stem cells. They're not ingesting crazy things. This is having our own bodies do what it wants to do naturally and help to promote
healing.
And so let's see, where can we go next?
Normally we kind of go into the business side of LifeWave for those who are interested, but we actually have something better than that tonight. We have a special guest, as Joe mentioned earlier. And I'm going to go ahead, Chuck, and promote you to panelist.
Yes. So we're bringing on tonight, if we can. Now, this would be the first time that we've ever promoted somebody, so hopefully it will work. So we can unmute Chuck. And right now, let's see if, I don't know if Chuck is even at a computer that would have a camera, but we've got him. And just a little bit about Chuck. And Chuck, can you hear us? I should say, can we hear you?
I've got him unmuted.
Okay. We're just...
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Chuck.
Now we can, yes.
Okay, all right. Actually, I had a headset on, but I guess you're picking me up on my computer, so miracles.
It could be. We don't have an image of you, but we do have a box that says Chuck Michel. So
all right.
For all of you folks who are on the call tonight, I'll tell you a little bit of what I know about Chuck Michel. And that is that when Cindy and I joined LifeWave 4 years ago, in January 4 years ago, literally 10 to 12 days later, we were at a conference, the very first conference that we went to, and it was in Las Vegas. And the gods were smiling on us because Cindy and I always try to get in early and get up to the front of the events and so on. And we got a table right up front. And it turns out that our sponsor, Mark Diamond, who's on the call tonight, and David Jumper, who is Mark's sponsor, were there. And we ended up sitting at a round table with Chuck and his wife, Mark Diamond, and that weekend they brought people up on stage to do these little elevator pitches, and I was mentored by Chuck and Mark and David Jumper, and I was the guinea pig that went up on stage. I've only been in the business for 10 days, but I had this gentleman helping us with this. Now, Chuck Michel has achieved the highest level that can be achieved in the LifeWave organization. He's a senior presidential director. And we have a lot of people on the call tonight from David Jumper's group. And David, I believe, also has now achieved that level of senior presidential director. And we've got a few other leaders on too. But Chuck, we're so blessed and so pleased and so thankful that you have agreed to come on. There's a lot of people who really don't know who you are. And so maybe if you wanted to tell us your story a little bit and let people know what it was that attracted you to LifeWave this 14 years ago.
Well, I could do that. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Cindy, for inviting me on. My background is pretty pedestrian. I'm not a doctor, a scientist, or a naturopath. I really come from a business background, commercial real estate, brokerage, and then development. And I was attracted to LifeWave actually before we even had a name, and David Jumper can remember that. We were invited to go down and listen to the scientist in Atlanta who had a patented health modality that was being used by Olympians, being used by the Stanford swim team, many of whom had qualified for the Olympics. David Beckham, who probably is one of the greatest soccer players ever. And from a business perspective, which was really my point of view, I'm thinking, my gosh, you've got all of this, you've got this user base. The product really hasn't gone to the market yet. People are driving to this guy's office to get the product. It isn't sold at GNC. You can't get it anywhere. Now, I'm not real smart, but I thought if you've got that kind of pull from buyers wanting to spend their money on a product, I needed to know about it. So I went to Atlanta. I met David, extremely impressed, a little overwhelmed. You know, David's a scientist, and he kind of gets over my head pretty quick, but he reduced it to what I would call everyday terms, blue-collar terms, and I could understand the concept of how it worked, the way he presented it. And so I was ready to engage, but I was flying back from Atlanta to California, and it was in July, hot, humid, sitting in the Atlanta airport. Finally got on the plane about 4 o'clock, and I love to read when I'm flying. I had 5 hours of just dead time, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. I thought, well, here we go. I'm going to waste a lot of time. And about then, the announcement came that we were taking off, tray tables up, seat backs up. And I'm thinking, okay, I'd love to read, but I can't keep my eyes open. Then I remembered that David had given me some of the energy patches, and they were in a little sandwich bag, one of these little baggies, because there was no there was no packaging. We really didn't have instructions. He had a Xerox sheet of where to place them stapled to the sandwich bag. So I stuck them on my wrist, white on the right, 10 on the left. Next thing I know, 10 minutes later, we're airborne. We're cruising at 30,000 feet. And I started to read. Well, I read for 5 straight hours. And I had, you know, energy lift can be a spike. It can be very temporary. It's a caffeine jolt. It's a candy rush. It's a Gatorade sugar rush. This was very unusual. It felt like I had taken a cold, refreshing shower. It was one of those where the shower sort of massages your head and your back, and you just have a revitalization. And that was a sensation. There was no caffeine rush, no heart palpitation. I was just alert, awake, and I read for 5 hours. And I landed in LA at 11:30 at night. And, you know, I wasn't, I understood the tenets of spreading the word, of networking, a friend to friend, but I wasn't an expert. But driving home to Orange County, all I could think of is everybody that I wanted to tell about this crazy product. My golfing buddies, and of course I had 3 kids with soccer and etc. So anyway, that's the way I started my business. I would just call everybody I knew, and I said, "Hey, Fred, let me tell you what happened to me." And they say, "What happened to you? You get hit by a bus?" I said, "Nope." I told them, I said, "I went to Atlanta. I met this scientist. He's got this product, which is being used by world-class, top-level NCAA swimmers, Olympians, and we could be at the top of the distribution channel, which means a lot of cash flow. So let's get together, and I'll show you what we've got." So that was really the way I grew the business. I didn't quite know all the tenets of networking other than to tell folks what happened to me. Then they wanted to try it. So we grew and we grew and we grew. And along the way, I had a lot of meetings with David. He eventually moved to San Diego. So I had probably an unfair advantage in I had the opportunity to listen to him over and over and over. He was kind enough in the early years we did meetings once a week in San Diego. He would come up to Newport, Orange County. So what I crafted from all that was what I would call very easy, non-intimidating ways to explain. So we have several subjects tonight, Joe and Cindy, but if you like, I could just share the way that I explain how they work.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chuck, that we would love to hear what you crafted together.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you touched on it, and the first reality and I guess truism is that our body constantly gives off what's called a thermo heat or thermomagnetic resonance. It's pulsating a magnetic resonating heat, and we know that from a lot of different physical receptors of that. The first would be night vision goggles that the military uses, hunters use. And when you train a night vision goggle or a night vision hunting scope on an animal or a human, what it picks up is that radiating magnetic field that's radiating off the body. If you go through a security door where the alarms go off, that's exactly what it's capturing. It's capturing that if you push a chair through, not much is going to happen. But if a human or an animal walks through, it picks up on that thermomagnetic resonating, call it a light, call it a beam, whatever. But our body is constantly radiating this energy field. Well, whatever goes out will bounce back. And even an example, if you were to take a flashlight and shine it on a side of a building, you'll have a round circle of the light image on the side of the building. But if you put a mirror right in front of that beam, it'll reflect back and you'll be the one in the spotlight. The building won't even see it because that energy, that light is bouncing off of the mirror.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is really, from very blue collar terms, the way the energy, all the patches work. What they have, if you know the patches, they have a little tiny packet, and in that packet, it's a crystal, and crystals are mirrors, thousands of mirrors that David has engineered down to the nano scale. Now, the crystals are designed to reflect a spectrum of light. Just like a rainbow, every different color, and the rainbow is different because it's a different spectrum of light that's coming through the moisture that's creating a rainbow. So light changes, and we see it in changing colors. Well, what happens is that when you put on, for instance, the energy patch, the spectrum of light, now where does the light energy come from? It comes from you. So this magnetic field that's bouncing off of your forearm or off your wrist is just dissipating. But the minute you put the mirrors or the patches with the crystals, it hits the crystals over the area. It doesn't have to be precise because it's more of a broadcast than a pinpoint. So it takes that thermal energy, it hits the mirror, and it goes back into your body at a predetermined dictated spectrum, which David engineers within these crystals. That's what gives each patch its definition. So if it's energy, the spectrum of light goes back into your body, and your body is just a cluster of billions of cells. And what the light does, it hits the mitochondria of the cell, and it tells your body to do something. Well, let's dissect that a minute. Let's say that you've led a very, very pristine life. You've never even had a broken fingernail, and you're 25 years old, and you get a cut on your arm. Well, that triggers things happening to your body. It's a wound. And the first thing is that, now remember, this has not been created for 25 years, yet the good Lord gave us the ability with no timetable. And what will happen when you cut your arm, all of a sudden coagulants are formed in the blood. Now, coagulants are thickening agents. It's not there all the time, but not only is the coagulant, the thickening agent, developed because of this wound in the cell structure of your arm, it marshals it to the cut so that the cut will begin to seal, cauterize, thicken, and all of a sudden the blood gets sort of thick and then scabby and then heals. So when there are certain trigger points in our body that make things happen. As an example, let's say, again, you have had a pretty pristine life, and at 25, you get a speck of maybe it's a little speck of sawdust in your eye. Well, that triggers the tear ducts to flush your eyeball to get that impurity and that foreign piece of sawdust out of your eye. Now remember, your tear ducts haven't really been activated much because you've led a pristine life. Doesn't matter. When that happens, bingo, the cells create a pool of tears to flush your eye. It's much, much more than the normal tearing because it wants to flush the eyeball. So, again, I'm not a doctor, but David explains that our body has miraculous ways that we can see physically, like the sealing of a wound, the flushing of your eye. But as he says, there's thousands and thousands of things going on internally that fights infection, that helps us grab extra energy when we need it in a time of emergency. It's called adrenaline rush. So what you need is a trigger point, and that's what David discovered. So what happens? Well, when this bounce back, if you will, from the mirror or the patch goes to the cell, what it triggers, and it tells your body to burn fat. And fat is probably 10 times the octane of sugar. And when we're just exercising normally or sitting or watching TV, you're burning sugar. That's a very low-grade fuel. But if all of a sudden you get up with a sense of fright or you got to move some furniture, the body reaches for a higher octane fuel, which is fat. And fat will start to burn. In fact, athletes, they call it a second wind. Well, what's happening is your body is saying, hey, I'm getting fatigued. I got to reach for a higher octane of fuel, which is fat. So that's basically what the energy patches do. So when you put them on, it's telling the body to reach for a higher octane fuel. Now, it's not a weight loss product because this is all happening at the nano level. I mean, these are just trigger points. But the point is the burning of fat is a much higher octane fuel. Now, let's talk about the X39, the stem cell patch. What does that tell the body? Well, it reflects a spectrum of light that tells the cells to produce and metabolize a peptide with a chromium base. And if you do a Google search, it's a chromium-based peptide that is the only nourishment that a stem cell reacts to. Now, Now, stem cells, you know, we hear, of course, the term today, especially because people are talking about stem cell injections. Stem cells, it's like an entire monstrous army of Secret Service agents that are constantly monitoring your system. Because if you have a rogue skin cell, a rogue blood cell, a rogue brain cell, meaning it's tiring, disintegrating, the stem cells come in and they replace that, they split. So they in themselves are not a dedicated cell, such as a stem cell is not a brain cell, but it becomes a brain cell. It splits, and the one half goes and becomes the worn out brain cell to replace it to keep you healthy and functioning. And then the other moves on to split again. So stem cells are very unique in that they're constantly monitoring for rogue cells. And our whole body is a cell structure. It's a bone cell, skin cell, hair cell, brain cell, you name it. It's all based on the cell structure. So the stem cells are critically important. And this is a relative. I mean, they knew 100 years ago that there was this marshaling of something going on, but they really, with the help of very sophisticated medical equipment and lab equipment, they identified the importance of stem cells. Now, here's the problem. We have a very, very delicate DNA system. In fact, heart transplants, kidney transplants never worked 50 years ago and they didn't know why. Well, your body rejects things that aren't your DNA. So they finally realized that a heart was rejected, a kidney was rejected. So what they do if you go in for heart replacement is they drug you to totally, totally kill your immune system. That's why they keep you in the hospital, because you're receptive to all kinds of crazy things, because they have to dampen down your immune system, which would fight that third-party heart. Then once they dampen it down and the body accepts it because your fighting mechanisms have been suppressed, then everything comes back, and slowly this third party, remember, someone else's DNA's heart has been accepted within your body. Okay, now think about stem cells. I mean, you got chiropractors injecting stem cells, you got beauty salons, and the FDA has gone crazy because I saw an article where someone had gone in for knee stem cell injections, and they grew a monstrous tumor in their stomach.
Oh.
It was someone else's DNA that had some medical conditions. And so the point I'm making is that we don't do that. We take your stem cells, and we know they age, we know they atrophy, we know they get tired, and we rejuvenate them with a peptide. It's a chromium peptide, which is like a whole new set of nourishment for your stem cells begin to disintegrate at 25 years old. Yeah. So, and the body just doesn't always produce enough of that peptide with a chromium base because of diet, pollutants, no exercise, so many things. So all of a sudden we now, without injections, without drugs, without toxins, without chemicals, we just trigger. Now let's go back to what I said before. We can trigger your body to heal a wound with a coagulant in the blood. We can trigger our body with a piece of lint in your eye to flush a massive amount of tears from the tear ducts to flush your eye. So what we're doing, what David is doing, is telling those cells to produce, marshal, and metabolize the chromium peptide that's nourishing stem cells. I mean, it's patented. So, I mean, talk about right place, right time, and you know, we're seeing it because the volume. And any new people on the line, folks, you're sitting at the beginning of Apple, Microsoft. You pick it. We are there. So anyway, that's my that's my overview. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to handle it.
Chuck, that was anything but pedestrian.
You're kind.
You know, we were fortunate enough to listen to David go through a lot of his explanations just 2 weekends ago in Los Angeles.
Yes.
You know, and David, to dovetail on what Chuck had just explained so eloquently. I have never heard it explained that way before, but boy, does that make sense.
It really does when you think about it. You know, when you think about it in that perspective,
yeah,
you know, it's amazing.
David explains, you know, stem cells are basically universal cells.
That's right.
They can become anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're differentiating. Once they find that your body is in need of something, then the stem cells can become whatever they need to become to help that. And so it's really exciting.
You know, the other thing, and I'm obviously going to add a disclaimer, but I think common sense tells us that we're more susceptible to a cold, to disease when we're tired. You know, when we're fatigued, the body is just, it doesn't fight as well. And in many ways, that's true with cancer. Cancer's there, and it's going to attack cells that are tired, that are fatigued. So if we're not keeping the stem cell very robust to catch those cells early and give them new life, guess what? Old Mr. C can sneak in. So we don't really talk about that, but common sense says that if you have a very well nourished, robust stem cell that's out there looking like the CIA agents floating through your body, common sense says that it's just good for us with no drugs, no toxins, no injections. It's pretty cool.
The other thing that I really appreciate about the way David has been handling all this, I mean, he recognizes the immensity of what it is that he's not uncovered, but has created and brought to being here. And he doesn't seem to be at all tempted by all these big companies of the world, these gigantic pharma companies, and Google, who wants to put $1 billion and has been into their own stem cell research. And David has always been a champion for being able to provide solutions that are cost effective and that work. And so he's not been tempted by going and, you know, selling this off because he could personally become very, very wealthy. He's sticking to what he knows best. He's sticking to what he believes in. He's like us. He's got his mantra, and he just seemed to be rock solid about that. And so, you know, I think we're very, very fortunate to be able to have a leader like that.
Absolutely.
In so, Chuck, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's really why I burned the boats at the beach. How many years ago? 15 years ago. I said, okay. I said, there's no returning. And of course, I'm delighted that I made that commitment. And it was because of David. I just sensed his integrity, his vision. He was so smart, and it's been fun.
Yeah, I wish we had your actual face up here on the screen.
I know.
Can you get to that one picture? Because when we saw you in Los Angeles, I reached out, you know, I leaned over to Cindy and said, "Oh my goodness, Chuck and his wife look younger than we've ever seen them before." And if you can find, I don't know if you can go out there.
I'm going to just share my screen. I'm going to keep everything just for a moment so I can see if I can find.
Actually, I don't think this is a computer that's been sitting on my desk. It's a little old. I don't think I have the right camera.
Yeah, there probably isn't the camera.
Okay.
But
next time you know, I'll put an avatar up.
Yeah.
You find it? I know I saved it.
Okay.
Just recently.
Here we go, right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was
there I am.
Yeah, 4.5 years ago, when Cindy and I were literally in LifeWave for less than 2 weeks.
Yes.
Chuck is in between us there. And on Cindy's left side is David Jumper, and on my right side is Mark Diamond. These three are very, very well-known people in the LifeWave organization.
Yes.
So we've been very, very fortunate to be able to land in the line of sponsorship that we landed in.
Yes.
But I can tell you that if you were to meet Chuck right today, he looks a lot younger than he does even in this picture here. And I won't give your age, but suffice it to say, if they were to guess that you're in your 50s, they'd be off by 20-some years. A few, yeah.
Well, I still helicopter ski, water ski, play golf. And, so that's the blessing. I'm very mobile.
And we're going to be just like you, Chuck.
Yeah, when we grow up. So we're gonna thank you. We're so grateful that you offered to come and support us in this way. And of course, once you made that offer, we did not delay. We took you straight up on it. And, hopefully, a few years, we'll build an organization of some size. And we'll, hopefully you'll be gracious enough to come back and speak with our people again. But thank you, Chuck. We're going to probably do one more thing after this for those who want to hang on. We're going to talk about the enrollment packs really quickly. We typically do the entire comp plan presentation, but we can get that to you. Cindy has recorded a tremendous comp plan presentation. Or if the person who invited you, this is vitally important, the person who invited you, get with them if this is of any interest to you, and I can't imagine it not being. But if you came through the various means and methods that we have to bring people to these webinars, then fantastic. Reach out to us. We'll get you fixed up. But if it was someone else who invited you, please reach out to them, because we want to keep integrity in everything that we do with these webinars that we've been putting on. And we can get you a copy of the comp plan. In fact, LifeWave is putting out a new comp plan, but there is one available that we can get to you. But they just added an additional way to have commissions coming through the business. And even if it wasn't a business that was behind all this, which anchors in that prosperity piece of our VLP movement, even if that wasn't the business piece of it, this is the kind of thing that we would be passionate about, to be able to help people anyways. And so we want you to kind of understand that that's really what we're all about. We're very successful in our own careers. This is going to be where we head with our time and our efforts going forward, because in this type of an environment, we can do nothing but help people, in so many ways. And that's
part of who we are. So again, like Joe said, we do these webinars every Thursday night. I'm going to start I did a comp plan webinar. It turned out pretty good, I think. There's some improvements. It was my first one, and we do have a recording of that. We're willing to share this with anybody, share it with your prospects. We'd be happy to help in any way.
We've got a few more minutes before 9 o'clock. Let's jump into the enrollment packs.
Okay.
And just quickly, we'll go over how you become a member of LifeWave. You can certainly become a member by just wanting to buy the products at retail, and you can go to our website, which is the information here, and we'll put this back up in a minute, or to the website of the person who invited you. And you can simply order the products right from their replicated website, and that's great. But we can also show you how to order the products at wholesale. And so let's talk about that a little bit on the enrollment packs.
So, there's, in addition to these amazing products, the business is a really good, let me put this in present mode.
Okay.
For those who, who inspire to that. But right now I'm here to talk about the enrollment pack. I got a little lost there. I'm like, where am I? That was okay. So, in addition to purchasing products, like Joe said, some people become LifeWave members simply to benefit from the member pricing. For example, at retail, you can purchase X39 for a 30-day supply at $149.99, but members receive it for $99.95. So you're saving $50 just for members. And also with the other patches, you can take advantage of multi-unit pricing. So for example, if you buy one patch packet say the Energy Enhancer patch, you're going to pay $69.95. But if you buy 2 patch packets, like either 2 months or 2 packets, maybe mix and match, whatever you like, the price goes down to $59.95 each. And then if you purchase 3, it goes down to $49.95 each. Yeah. So there's basically 5 enrollment levels, and as you can see here, there's something that really fits everybody's budget and comfort zone as far as what they want to invest, whether they're going in from the business side or just to enjoy the products. So one thing, other things that membership entitles you to is LifeWave will provide you with your own self-replicated website. Now, this is a great way to promote your business. You can send your prospects there, your customers can purchase right there. LifeWave handles all the logistics. They, ship the product, they collect the money. There's nothing you really need to do except for send your customers to your website. Yep. Members, you'll receive a robust back office. And this back office, you manage your business. You can see your enrollments, any retail sales you may have made, and your commissions for the week. There's a abundance of training and marketing materials there. So the back office is really a great benefit that comes with membership.
Very robust.
Yes. So that's really about it that I have to say about that.
Yep. And if you notice the various packages here, the largest package you could possibly buy would be under $1,600. And for the $1,600, you're getting, I think we calculated $2,700+ worth of value at the wholesale price, not the retail price. Right. $2,700 at the wholesale price. And then you're in at the very highest level, the diamond level, and you've spent less than $1,600 to have a business of your own, right, which gives you all that back office and your own website and all the products that you would get with that. I feel like the guy that's at 2 o'clock in the morning, that pitch man on TV. I get excited when we get into this, and we'd love to have the time to show you the entire business comp plan, but we respect your time. We're right at the hour right now. We try to keep these down to an hour. And so get with the person who invited you here and tune in to when we're going to be doing the comp plan. We do have a recording of it. We want to upgrade that recording, but we do have a recording of it. We can get that to you right away. And by golly, we would love to see you join us in this adventure that we're on. It really has been enthralling. It really has been. So put our contact information back up one more time. Okay. That way, if you've got your cell phone out, you can take a quick picture of the screen, or maybe just do a screenshot where we get our contact information up there.
Let's see where I left off here.
Well,
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right to it.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
There you go.
Maybe take a quick shot of that with your cell phone. You'll have all of our information, or get with the person who invited you. They thought enough about you to introduce you to this idea, this concept, and this breakthrough technology that was just announced this January. So it's a great time to consider this. And thank you for coming out tonight and joining us and supporting us and being part of this. We were blessed with the top guy in the LifeWave member organization. And so thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you being here. Much gratitude for you.
Okay, I'm going to unstop my share and wave goodbye to everybody, and have a very blessed evening.